Another castle with which we didn't get to see from the Rhine was the Laennec Castle. High up on the ancient tower stands the noble hero's ghost, is the quote of this castle. Inspired by the site of the ruins of the Laennec Castle, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe penned the poem Geestenbug, Greeting from a Ghost, that marked the literary beginning of the Rhine Romanticism. The castle was constructed between 1240 and 1245 by the Archbishop Siegfried III to provide protection to the Maes estates. Nahestein and its silver mine had become an enclave of the Archbishop of Maes in the year 1220. Until sometime in the 16th century, the castle in the hills above the mouth of the Rhine, Lahn, was the seat of the Mainz bailiff. Following the feud between the bishops of Mainz in the late 15th century, the castle was extended and strengthened. The chapel, built in 1245, also contains glass and panel paintings from that period. The chapel's choir juts well out over the original ring wall of the castle, as if a gesture symbolizing the self-importance and prestige that the Archbishop of Mainz gave themselves. The symmetrical layout of the original inner castle, typically of the Staffer period, is still clearly recognizable despite later alterations to the courtyard. The pentagonal keep with massive curtain wall and round corner tower dates back to this period. Around 1436, a second ring wall with several circular towers was built around the inner ditch. The English railroad entrepreneur Edward Mortery began remodeling the castle in English neo-Gothic style around 1852, and this was continued by Gustav Good in 1860. The battlemented parapets and the flat roofs added at that time were removed in 1936 and 1938 in order to restore something of the original medieval appearance of the castle. And today the castle grounds and some of the richly furnished historical rooms are open to visitors. It is about a 5-minute walk from the car park beside the swimming pool. By the time we reached this castle, actually called a palace, Stolzenfels Palace, we'd actually been on the bus, and as a result, I've taken this from quite some distance. This was built by Archbishop Arnold II von Eisenberg of Treves, founded this castle and in about the middle 13th century. It is here to the south of Koblenz, the opposite the mouth of the River Lahn, and that the archbishops of Treves, Mainz, and Cologne and the Palatine had met and signed their little treaty. The castle of Stolzenfels and Laennec to the north are visible reminders of the influence of these rivals. Stolzenfels was extended during the second half of the 14th century by the archbishops Kuno and Werner von Walkenstein. It was destroyed in the 1689 during the Palatinate War of Secession, like so many of the castles. The city of Koblenz, which thanks to Napoleon became the owner of the Stolzenfels, presented the ruins to the Prussian crown prince and the later king, Frederick Wilhelm IV, in 1823. At the express wish of the prince, the castle was rebuilt in 1835 on the foundations of the earlier castle, utilizing what remained of the ruin. Architect Karl Friedrich Schinkel, who's built a lot of the buildings in Berlin, designed a palace in the English Tudor style, with the roof almost entirely replaced by crenellations running all the way around the building. The palace was nonetheless equipped with all the household comforts of the 19th century. The oldest part of the medieval castle is the pentagonal keep, built around probably 15 or 1250, with its protective curtain wall. A second residential tower was constructed around 1370, followed shortly after by the Great Hall on the north side, making a very impressive view from when seen from the river. More recent restoration work has seen the reconstruction of the residential apartments at the rear, the chapel, and the monumental southern gateway. The interiors are beautifully decorated and furnished from the 14th and 19th centuries. Most remarkable is the double-naved vaulted Knights Hall, modeled after the great refectory of Marienburg Castle in East Prussia. With its important collection of historic armor and weapons, as well as one of the earliest collections of old German ceramic. The small Knights Hall in the former residential tower from the 14th century contains wall paintings depicting knightly virtues. This property is, of course, owned by the state and is accessible for guided tours. It is probably about a 15-20 minute walk from the local parkade.